Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am Sonya. Today we're going to talk about solitude and self-awareness. Last week I posted on my community tab and I asked what should we talk about this year, the year of 2020. I have some goals for my channel and for my business, and I want you guys to collaborate with me. So I wanted some input from you, the fam. And so Fandra suggested that I spoke about, please speak on solitude and self-awareness, specifically how to know and become comfortable with who you are and leverage those strengths and challenges to start a new season. I think this is a great question. Thank you so much for your question. Our very own J-Dub had a suggestion of speaking about re-entering into toxic or unhealthy relationships, and I did that video. That video will be up soon this week as well. And then also Kimberly Review said just keep it positive, and that's what we're going to do. But I think this is a great suggestion. The bottom line is solitude leads to self-awareness. Having those moments to yourself, having those moments of solitude are so healthy for you. So some of us have been conditioned that you should always seek all of your information outside of you, when a lot of what you need is inside of you. Learning and knowing who you are is an internal journey. Don't get me wrong, relationships are important. You will meet people who allow you to grow as a person through relationships. That is very true. You need relationships, but you need all relationships, and that includes the relationship with yourself. So it's important to be able to have a relationship with yourself, your creator, and your family and friends and the people around you. And in business, the bottom line is we all need one another. People have strengths and weaknesses that can help us, and we need to build relationships for that. However, one of the challenges of not having a relationship with yourself is you don't know who you are. And when you don't know who you are, other people dictate who you are. And that can leave you frustrated, resentful, angry, and lost. And actually can lead you in relationships where you are being misused and abused, because you don't have a sense of self. And you're following along what everyone else has said or what this person is saying, and you don't want to be alone. So you continue in this pattern or in this relationship. It is so very important that you know who you are and you are comfortable with who you are, and solitude allows you to have those moments. So I'm going to talk about some of the benefits of solitude. I'm going to do some mindful exercise or give some mindfulness exercise suggestions, and then some affirmations at the end. Okay, so solitude, the state of being alone. It doesn't mean that you're lonely. It's just a moment in time where you are alone. You should always have time carved out for you, priority for you. Think about someone or something that you love more than anything on the face of this earth, that you always make time for, that you always put in effort for, that no matter what, if they call you, come running. Like, we have this kind of loyalty to other people, but we don't have this for ourselves. You need to love yourself the same way you love that person or that thing, right? How you trying to prove to that person how much you love them, how much you going to show up for them, how much you going to ride for them. You need to do that for yourself, okay? So prioritize your time. We'll talk later, but you can start with 5 minutes. It doesn't have to be a huge undertaking. And then I also know that there are some trauma-related reasons why people don't like to be by themselves. And for that, I'll say seek help, because you can get help to navigate through that process, right? Now, I'm going to suggest this. If you are having moments in time that you can't recall, that you see a therapist or a counselor. If you think there's been a traumatic event or there's been some trauma that you know of, like that surrounds maybe your family that you may have experienced, then you may want to see a trauma specialist. I would not suggest you see a coach for that, just because you don't want to re-traumatize yourself, because we don't know what your mind is hiding from you. Something that's very important to realize is that your body, from head to toe, inside and out, job is to take care of you. Your body's job is to ensure that you are alive and to keep you in homeostasis, which means in balance. That is the job of your body. And so if you've experienced things that has caused you harm or made you feel anxious or traumatized you in any kind of way, your body protects you from that. Some things will be revealed easily, some things will not. You will be surprised how your mind protects you. So it really isn't something to take lightly. And a lot of times when people are constantly triggered by things, we talk about where that trigger comes from. So you have to kind of dig into the source of that trigger, and you will be surprised sometimes what that is. But please seek help and guidance when you are doing these things if you have some concerns or if you think there may have been a traumatic event. Getting back to solitude. Solitude is a moment in time that you carve out for yourself to care for yourself, to love on yourself, and to think. In these moments, you can think. You can think about yourself. You can start your self-love journey, your self-discovery journey in those small moments of solitude. Think to yourself, who am I? Who do I want to be? Why do I do the things that I do? Who am I trying to please ultimately? Who do I want to become ultimately? Why do I make the decisions that I make? And ask yourself, is this really me or is this the world? Which is another reason why solitude is important. A lot of times the world is dictating who we are and what we're going to be and what we're going to do. You know, you want to please your parents, you want to please your significant other, you want to please the societal rules, but a lot of things are not true to who you are. You can't discover yourself and your purpose until you know who you are, and you have to give yourself permission to learn yourself, and also give yourself permission to stand in the person that you are. I struggled with this growing up because I have always been one to say, this is how I feel and this is what I think. That was the gift of my mom, right? But the problem is when you have certain people that help you in life or guide you or you feel have saved you, you don't want to betray them. And so sometimes you betray yourself a little bit trying to meet their needs. But then I will become frustrated and then I'll just kind of like back out or shut down. That isn't healthy either. There's a way to come into a compromise when you're dealing with relationships, but at the end of the day, you don't owe someone all of you, right? You have to balance it out and decide what I'm okay with. Am I okay with this? Am I going to sell myself short trying to thank a person? And truthfully, a lot of times that's not even what they expect. Sometimes it is, but a lot of times they don't expect that. That's an expectation that you put on them yourself. So I had to work through that, and you know, a lot of people do. And it wasn't anything major. It was really just like, I didn't want to get married, but my grandmother was a church woman and she believed that I should be married. But I had to really ask myself, if I want to be married, what does that look like, right? I had to deal with that, and I made a decision on my life. And what's so interesting about that is that everyone was upset and felt like I was being selfish, but I felt like it was selfish for everyone to tell me how to live my life. Like, this is my life. The fact of the matter is, parents or not, we are all on our own journey. You have your own journey, your own purpose. You may have got here under unfortunate circumstances, but your reasoning for being here is purposeful. You just have to find it. And we come with our own tools and our gifts. And so you have to explore that for yourself. And you can't live for other people and explore that for yourself at the same time. You have to put you first in that way. The best part of you, and you being the total part of you, or being yourself in total, will bring you the greatness and the power that you're looking for. But you got to give yourself permission to do it. So solitude does that. You have those moments where you can problem solve, think about the relationship with yourself and the relationship with others. It's a time to be creative. I get some of my best downloads in my moments of solitude and my moments of meditation and just my moments of quiet. I'm not hearing the noise of everyone else, so I can hear me clearly. It's so interesting. I'm working on a few things right now, and I'm reading self-help books. That's one thing I have to be honest about. During my healing journey, I didn't read self-help books. I read the Bible. I watched some videos, but I prayed a lot. In my journey, God really set me down and removed all distractions. And I was in such a state that I didn't really want to read anything but the Bible, because I was like really seeking the Lord out. I thought I had been lost out here. I was left, like, what's going on? And so because of that, a lot of things came to me. And so now that I'm reading these books because I'm working on something, I'm like, oh, the Lord told me that. Like, I got all of these messages. So everything you need is really in you. People can help you. Like, by all means, seek help, seek assistance, seek guidance. But once you become okay with you, you will get the information you need from you, right? Not to say that you can't gain wisdom from someone else. For sure you can. But your experience is not my experience. Your purpose is not my purpose. So as someone who does this for a living, my job is to facilitate it. When I used to teach, that's what I would tell my students. I'm here to facilitate your learning, but the information will be synthesized through you. And so you have more power and knowledge than you give yourself credit for. So I will always encourage that. And comes to my next point, you build your confidence. You become a more confident person. You become more comfortable in your skin, and you know who you are, and you're okay with that. And this is where we get into self-awareness. Your self-awareness is knowing who you are, good, bad, and indifferent. And you can explore that. You can grow. You can evolve. I'm going to do a video on, what's that young lady's name? Brittany Renner. Because although she's made a lot of mistakes, she's a person who grew up in unfortunate circumstances, but she's now learning to work with herself and heal herself. She's seeking out resources to help her, which there isn't anything wrong with that. Like I said, my journey was my journey. I sought resources out in one way, but that may not work for you. And what works for you is what you should seek. And that may be trial and error. You know what I mean? I had already had therapy. Some people may need to initiate therapy. So I had tools from before to use and pick up, but what I was good at doing was distracting myself, and I needed to have all of my distractions eliminated so I can spend time with myself and with my creator to figure out what is the next chapter in my life and where I'm going. So you have the opportunity to declutter, to rebuild yourself, to find out who you are. And as you find out who you are, find out what you like and what you don't like about yourself, find out why you like and dislike these things about yourself. Is this something that someone has projected onto you? A lot of people project their insecurities onto you. Sometimes our parents are trying to keep us safe and they project things onto us in the effort to keep us safe, but it ends up being more damaging than not. That may not be their intention, but it happened. And the two things can coexist, and all you really need to do is just acknowledge that, hey, I know you were trying to keep me safe, but it didn't really work the way you wanted it to work. But I'm working on these tools, right? All of this is about changing your mindset. It's about opening your heart and your mind. It's about building this relationship with yourself. It's about forgiving yourself and forgiving others for things that have happened. And remember, I said before, forgiveness is about letting go. It's about releasing. It doesn't mean you have to tolerate anything. It just means I'm forgiving myself, or I'm forgiving this person. I'm letting go of the anger. I'm letting go of the shame. I'm letting go of whatever, the fear, all the things that's holding me back from my greatness. You all have your own greatness. We all have our own greatness. So certain things may hold you back and you have to move that out of the way. So once you become aware of who you are, you become aware of your superpowers, your ability to make decisions, you being in charge of your life, you being in charge of your thoughts and your feelings. You know for sure who you are. Like I told you, I trust myself above everyone. And I have people in my life that I really love, respect, and trust. And I know they will always have my best interest at heart, right? But what I know above all things is I know me. I know my intentions at every turn. No one knows you like you, but you have to be willing to learn you. Don't be afraid. If you are afraid to look within and to gain a relationship with yourself, ask yourself why. What would happen, right? How can you exist in your body, in yourself, and not want anything to do with yourself. You have to ask yourself those kind of questions. I'm here to tell you, I'm working in the medical field. I've been in the medical field for over 30 years, and I have seen a lot of death. You are with you. No matter who else is around, the experience that person is having in that moment that's transitioning versus the family versus the medical staff versus whoever else is around is completely different. I can tell you that. I can promise you that. It's a different experience. So that is your life. Think about if you have siblings or if you have multiple children, how one person can perceive something one way but the other person perceives it completely different. The situation you two were put in are the same, but the perception and the experience is so different, and that is you. Like your life, who you are on the inside is different than what people may perceive, and so you can't allow everyone else to dictate who you are, and you have to be willing to take on yourself and learn to love yourself, learn to understand yourself and know who you are. Your imperfections, your shortcomings, first off, everyone has them, and that is okay. But a lot of things you can work on, and you'll start discovering that you don't want to do things that you used to do. You don't want to be around the people that used to be around it. Relationships, people, places, and things that don't serve you anymore, you transition out of them and you stand in yourself and you seek what makes you happy. You seek what makes you feel whole. You seek more knowledge of self, knowledge of nature, knowledge of life. One of the reasons, so we're going to get into it in a little bit, where I say it's a good thing, a great idea to bring nature into your home or into this safe space that you're going to create, is because the connection with earth is so important to us as human beings. You got to think about it. Everything that we have to keep us alive has to do with earth. You know, everything that we need. We can't have fruits and vegetables if we didn't have, or herbs. Herbs are a medicine. Food is actually a medicine as well. You can't have any of this without Mother Earth, right? Mother Earth has to do her thing so we can do our thing so we can live. So I always encourage people to bring in aspects, the four elements in their space if they can. Check out that video please check out the live that Auntie Advice did. We talked about that a little bit on her channel. So let's just get into it while I'm talking about it. Find 5 minutes. Okay, I know for some people this is going to be scary. Find 5 minutes in a day for just yourself. Now, I suggest it's the start of your day, but I understand that everyone's life is different. So wherever you can find time to have these moments are good, but dedicate at least 5 minutes to yourself. Remember, you're loving yourself like you love that thing or that person that you love more than anything on the face of this earth. And make sure this place is a very safe space for you. Okay, you can really relax there. You don't have any worries, even if it's the bathroom. If it's a closet, if it's a corner somewhere in the house, if it's in the basement, or if it's in the attic. If you have to go somewhere else, just find yourself 5 minutes and find a safe space for you to have these moments of solitude. This is where we're going to start. Now, this place needs to be a place that's safe for you. Okay, so you found yourself a safe space, right? And we're just going to do 5 minutes. Where do we want to start? For one, you want to set your intentions. If you have really, really high anxiety and, you know, your mind is constantly racing and you're like, I don't know, you can do little things like have a little background music. For me, initially, I needed to have background music or background sound. And the sound I chose is the ocean water. I love the way the ocean sounds when the waves, like the waves and the air and the wind and I love the way the ocean sounds. One of the reasons why I love going to the Caribbean is because I love just to feel the air move, and I love to hear the ocean. I love that sound. So that would be my background sound. Sometimes I would do bells, you know. I would type into YouTube healing sounds or meditation sounds, and I would do that. There are different apps. You could do an app on your phone that will give you exactly 5 minutes. Okay, so check that out if you just need a sound. And what you want to do is you're going to say this: I'm dedicating, you're setting your intention, I'm dedicating 5 minutes to myself to relax, right? We're going to start with creating a place of safety for us. Once we create a place and space for safety, and we create a time to dedicate to ourselves just to reflect, you then become that space after a while. So you'll carry the space that you've created within you throughout the day. And those people who are really unbothered all the time is because they have internal peace, because they've created a safe space within themselves. But we're going to start with an actual space. Okay, so you have your space, you're going to have your time. It's going to be 5 minutes. If you're going to set a timer for a sound that isn't disruptive. You don't want like a loud, you don't want to abruptly come out of this moment. Okay, so just a sound that's different from the sound if you're using a sound, or just something to kind of say, okay, your 5 minutes is up. And I'm telling you, after a while, that 5 minutes is going to go so fast. You're going to be like, I need more time. Give me more time. Okay, so you have your sound if you need your sound. You find a place of focus if you cannot keep your eyes closed. Some people can't close their eyes. I get it. I understand. That's okay. Find a visual point. Find something to look at. You can get a candle. Candles are great. Get a little candle, or just get something, a color that's calming to you, something that's relaxing to you. Use that as your focal point. Then I want you to sit, lie, whatever makes you feel comfortable. Okay, and put your hands somewhere near you, on your thigh. Hold them together, you know, just kind of, because we need to anchor ourselves. Okay, the first thing you want to do is to breathe. You want to take some deep breaths. Breathe for just a minute. Count 5 in, 5 out. Just do your breathing is so important because it increases your oxygenation and it allows your body to relax. That's why people always say take a deep breath, right? So do that deep breath. Do it for approximately a minute. You don't have to time it, but just do it until you feel better. Okay, you have your sound going. If you need sound, if you can do silence, do silence, and take your breath, right? So you set your intentions, got your sound, taking a deep breath. Next, as you move forward, now you need to search yourself to say, what is it that I need? Am I just trying? You set your attention. So are you trying to be quiet in this time? Are you trying to affirm yourself in this time? Are you trying to think of something in this time? And this is a time for you to either just be still and breathe, or it's a time for you to ask for guidance, right? That's up to you. I suggest that you practice silence and mindfulness first, and then move on to asking questions. But you know where you are, so ask yourself what it is that you need. And then we'll get into your affirmations. If you're having a hard time being still and the music isn't working, touch yourself in a place. So you can put your hand across your chest and take a deep breath. Sometimes I cross both of my hands and it feels like I'm getting a hug, and then I'll do my deep breaths. Then sometimes I'll touch my face. It's like it's like an embrace, and I'll do my deep breaths. Then sometimes I'll touch my stomach, and sometimes I'll do like my chest and my stomach. So just find a place that works for you. Sometimes just putting your hands on your thigh is enough. And in those moments, if you're still having a lot of anxiety, calm yourself. Put your hand wherever is comfortable for you and say you're safe. And I want you to say this affirmation: I'm a safe space. I'm a safe space for me. I'm going to protect me. You got to remember, your whole body's existence is about protecting you. And no matter what happened in the past, you can't control other people. If someone did not provide a safe space for you, but you yourself, you can provide a safe space. So put your hand across your chest and say, I am safe. You are okay, right? This is where we're going to start. And then you can practice more mindfulness from there. After your 5 minutes are up, I want you to affirm yourself. You can write it out, or you can do this within your 5 minutes. The goal is to just get you to start sitting and thinking about yourself. So Affirmation number 1, I'm a safe space. We talked about that. Say that you're safe. You have to put it out there that you are safe, that you want the best for you, right? Sometimes we treat ourselves like the enemy. You're not your own enemy, okay? Number 2, I trust myself. You got to trust yourself. You can't feel safe if there's no trust, right? If you are rebuilding trust, acknowledge that I am rebuilding trust with myself. Okay. Number 3, I appreciate me. Let yourself know that you appreciate yourself. Say thank you to yourself. Thank your whole body for everything that it does. Thank you for what you do. We are told not to appreciate ourselves, don't think too highly of ourselves, but you have to. I will not use the word humble just based on the definition. I'm not going to be humble ever again. And it doesn't mean that I'm going to be cocky and arrogant and rude and nasty. It means that I'm going to appreciate myself for who I am and appreciate my gifts. I will acknowledge my shortcomings, but I am going to acknowledge what's great about me as well, what's good about me as well, what value I have as well. And I encourage you to do the same, okay? Okay, so I hope this helps and I hope this answers your question. I can definitely do more on this topic. This video I think is going to be longer than anticipated, but solitude leads to self-awareness. Once you become self-aware, you start walking in your greatness because you will be fully aware of who you are, where your strengths are, and what you want to do and who you want to become. And that changes how you operate in the world. It changes how you allow people to treat you. It changes how you treat other people, how you see other people, and it changes your wants, needs, and desires. I know sometimes we are afraid of becoming an unrecognizable person. You will always be you. The parts of you are parts of you, right? But you can be a better you. You can be a better you. You could be a happier you. You could be a more at peace you. You could be a more healed you. You can be a better you. And in order to do that, you need to be self-aware, and you have to start spending time building a healthy, loving, committed, loyal relationship with yourself. Okay? I will see you guys soon. Please do not forget to love yourself for who you are. Contact me below if you have any questions. Leave me any comments if you would like to. Go to that comment in my community tab and add suggestions if you would like. And I will see you all soon. This was supposed to be a self-love Sunday. This is going to be self-love Sunday on Monday. Take care. I appreciate you. Oh, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. All right. Bye-bye.